The grey skies over Britain in the winter of 1940 looked like an old page torn by the wind, but for the German pilot Heinz Georg Mullenbruck, it was something else entirely, a testing ground for fate. He was a young man, not yet 25, with a glint of daring in his eyes and the hidden anxiety familiar to anyone who has flown over a land that does not welcome their return. His Messerschmitt Bf 110 took off from a German airbase before dawn on a daring reconnaissance mission to test the British air defences around Hornchurch, a base known for its skies that threatened any approaching enemy with a storm of fire. With the first light of day, British anti-aircraft guns began to paint lines of fire in the air. Mullenbruck tried to evade, to escape that blazing iron arc, but one of the shells struck his wing directly. The plane lost its balance and began spinning wildly, as if the sky itself refused to let it continue flying. In that brief moment, just before impact, Mullenbruck felt time stand still. He saw his country through the fog, his childhood, his mother's smile at the door, and then he pressed the eject button. His parachute opened above him like a blank sheet of paper falling peacefully into a war that knows no peace. He landed in a field near the British base, exhausted, frozen, but alive. Before he could catch his breath, he found himself surrounded by a group of British soldiers. He had expected harsh treatment, but was surprised by their alert but not hateful faces. One of them grabbed his arm and said, "The flight is over, pilot." He was led inside the base, and there a new story began, one different from the war. In a cramped room, a young British lieutenant sat with him and began questioning him, not as an enemy, but as a pilot who knew all too well what it meant to fall from the sky. They exchanged a short conversation, but it was imbued with that strange humanity that emerges in places seemingly untouched by it. As Mullenbruck was being transported to the prisoner of war camp, he saw the wreckage of his plane being towed from the field through the vehicle's window. A pang of sorrow gripped his heart. The wreckage wasn't just shattered metal, but a piece of his life, his dreams, the sky he loved. No one knew that morning that the downing of a single pilot would forever be etched in the memory of the base. Years later, the British would speak of that quiet German who came down from the sky, but Mullenbruck always remembered that war, no matter how fierce, cannot extinguish the light that binds people together when they shed their animosity, even for a moment.